Assalamualaikum dear doctors. In this video I am sharing the normal fetal circulation and fetal hemoglobin and oxygen dissociation curve, and these topics I have taken from MRCPCH Theory and Science book, case number 5. So the normal fetal circulation. Oxygenated blood from the placenta returns to the fetus through the single umbilical vein. Approximately half will travel through the liver with an almost equal amount bypassing the liver via the ductus venosus into the inferior vena cava. The inferior vena cava also drains blood returning from the lower trunk and extremities. So fast oxygenated blood from the placenta return to fetus via single umbilical vein. Then half of the they travel liver with almost equal amount bypassing the liver via ductus venosus. Then they go ductus venosus via liver. Then ductus venosus open into the inferior vena cava. And inferior vena cava drain returning the blood in the lower trunk and extremities. So ductus venosus open in inferior vena cava. This question come on the exam. Then the second para. In the right atrium, blood from the upper body from the superior vena cava with lower oxygen saturation passes through the tricapsid valve into the right ventricle and pulmonary artery. In utero, there is high pulmonary vascular resistance and low systemic vascular resistance. So after that, right atrium blood from the upper body from the superior vena cava with lower oxygen saturation passes through the tricapsid valve and in the right ventricle and pulmonary artery. Consequently, most blood traveling into the pulmonary artery is shunted across the ductus arteriosus into the descending aorta. The ductus arteriosus is a similar diameter to the descending aorta. Its patency is maintained by the lower oxygen tension in the blood and the dilating effect of prostaglandin E2 produced by the placenta. This relatively deoxygenated blood then travels back to the placenta via the two umbilical arteries. So fast the oxygenated blood go by a single umbilical vein, and they are telling that return back to the placenta via the two umbilical arteries, which arises from the internal iliac arteries to reoxygenate. The relatively oxygenated blood from the inferior vena cava preferentially crosses the foramen ovale, allowing blood to pass from the right atrium into the left atrium and left ventricle to supply the upper body, including the brain. Because of this pattern of flow in the right atrium, the highly oxygenated blood preferentially supplies the brain and the deoxygenated blood is shunted back to the placenta. Now fetal hemoglobin and oxygen dissociation graph. In the fetus, hemoglobin is in the form of fetal hemoglobin, which is made up of 2 alpha chains and 2 gamma chains. So in fetus, hemoglobin is HbF. It is made up of 2 alpha chain and 2 gamma chain. During the third trimester, remember, during the third trimester, the fetus starts to produce adult hemoglobin, hemoglobin A, 2 alpha chain and 2 beta chain. So we can understand that hemoglobin F, it is made up of 2 alpha and 2 gamma chain, where adult hemoglobin is made up of 2 alpha and 2 beta chain. By birth, the baby has around 80% hemoglobin F and 20% hemoglobin A. The gamma chains of hemoglobin F have reduced binding to 2,3-diphosphoglycerate 2,3-DPG. The reduced level of 2,3-DPG in the hemoglobin F causes the oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve to be shifted to the left. This means that for a given partial pressure of oxygen, a higher proportion of hemoglobin F will be saturated with oxygen than hemoglobin A. The higher affinity of hemoglobin F for the oxygen makes it easier for them to acquire oxygen from the maternal circulation. Alkalosis, hypocarbia, low partial pressure of carbon dioxide and hypothermia also shift the oxygen dissociation curve to the left. So this question also come, what causes oxygen dissociation curve to the left? That is decreased level of 2,3-DPG, alkalosis, hypocarbia, low partial pressure of carbon dioxide and hypothermia also shift the oxygen dissociation curve to the left. After birth, level of 2,3-DPG is rises rapidly, shifting the oxygen dissociation curve to the right and helping red blood cells to unload oxygen more effectively to the tissues and meet the increased metabolic requirements. So please subscribe and share Dr. Emma's Medicine YouTube channel. Thank you.